Hey, what up? It's Question. I finally present to you the official Dragon Ball Legends 3rd Anniversary Fusion Warrior tier list. Off the bat, I want to ask you, who is the best Fusion Warrior in the entire game? If you main Fusion Warriors, who must you have on your team if you want to increase your chances of winning? They are so crucial to the team that you always want to bring them to every single battle. The title of the best Fusion Warrior unit in the entire game, the king of Fusion Warriors, goes none other than to Otherworld Zenkai 7 Super Saiyan Gogeta. He is the most viable of the Fusion Warrior tag. He is a pseudo defense unit because his defenses are high. He is an offensive cannon. Rips through everyone. Whenever you're going into a match, you're going to want to bring this guy first. He has to be one of the first guys you bring. Unless you're facing a blue, purple, or a mono blue team, you're going to want to bring this guy. That is how crucial he is to this Fusion Warrior tag. Out of all the Fusion Warriors, this guy is easily the best one. Way better than Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. That's just the way it is. And that's final, my guy. That's final. And in case you're wondering, I've been maining Fusion Warriors for a year and a half. It is the only tag I main, and all of the equipment that I use is also specifically made for Fusion Warriors and no other tag. So I definitely know what I'm talking about, eh? So if we look at Gogeta, dog, like his stats, his kit, it's just insane. He has 2.8 million health, 290,000 strike attack. One of the highest offensive stats in the entire tag. His defenses are 180,000, which is great. The majority of the time, units have their defenses below 170,000. Even the new Fusion Warrior units have their defenses pretty low. His blast attack, he's not, blast oriented, 272. You'll take it. It's whatever. Looking at his kit though, every time he uses a strike or blast arts, he increases the damage for the next strike or blast arts. And he removes the cost of 2 ki from every single card. So if you're going into a long combo, it's going to come in very handy. Very handy. He is also a last man standing unit for Fusion Warriors. This is the closest we're going to get to a last man standing unit for this tag. When you're put into that situation where it's a 1v3, a 2v1, you're going to be getting 40% to damage inflicted and 60% to ki recovery. Further going to enable you into doing a very long chain combo. He applies the following effects when battle starts. He reduces damage received by 50%, once again being a pseudo defense unit, on top of him being a glass freaking breaking cannon. Power that surpasses time unlocks that powerful. Now when he enters, he restores ki by 20 plus 50% to damage inflicted, and what he's more infamous for is his arts card draw speed level increase by 1 level. And let me tell you, this guy can easily chain 6 cards. Easily. Well, at 80 ki, he can do it. 80 ki, he can chain 6 cards. That's how good this guy is. He's going to be able to deal so much damage, reduce the cost of his next card arts, get card draw speed, get damage inflicted buffs, and be a last man standing unit. He has so much viability. Like I said, if you're going into a PvP match, you're always going to want to bring him unless you're facing a blue, purple, or a mono blue team. His green card, it can chain into any other card. It removes their attribute upgrades and buff effects, gives you 50% to damage inflicted, and locks their blast for 5 timer counts. His blue, rarely are you ever going to get a feint, but it does happen. The majority of the time though, it's going to happen probably when you don't need it, because that's when it happens for me. It happens pretty much when I'm already winning, or the fact that they're just not using a good team. His ultimate skill, it restores ki by 50 and it has blast armor. So if you have a blue, you'll be able to just stand back, maybe try to restore your vanishing gauge because you used the ultimate to get through blasts, and you'll be able to sit back, boom, pop the blue when they throw a blast, and there you go. All in all, yeah, easily the best Fusion Warrior in the entire tag. Easily. Second, who is the second best Fusion Warrior unit? The ones that should come to mind are Zenkai 7 Dragon Ball Super Broly Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, and maybe even Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, because my opinions actually changed on him. I used to think he sucked, but now I think he is actually amazing. So who is the second best Fusion Warrior unit? Zenkai 7 transforming Dragon Ball Super Broly Gogeta. If you know about this dude, back then he packed a freaking punch with his blue card. A punch. And let me tell you, bruh, his stats, they are insane. However, there are obvious reasons why he is the second best and not the best. First off, he's a transforming unit. If you know anything about transforming units, they deal no damage and have poor defensive stats, hence why every single transforming unit either has a sustained damage cut buff or a reduced damage received buff. Reason being, once again, they can't tank pre-transformation. And you're basically going to be doing what Shallot does. Shallot pre-transformation, like 2 cards, he's dead. Pretty much the same with this Gogeta. In this meta, 1 combo, this dude's gonna die. That's just the way it is. So you're gonna be spending 10 counts having this guy on the side. You never want to start off with him unless you're facing a mono red team or maybe a red green team. But that's really not gonna happen as often as Zenkai Gogeta with the blue purple. That actually happens a lot more than a red green team variant. His stats aren't anything special. Once you do transform though, buddy, 290,000 strike attack, already the same as Otherworld Zenkai Gogeta. So he's going to be packing a little bit of a punch with his strikes on top of his 300,000 stat blast attack. The first ever Fusion Warrior unit to have a offensive stat over 300,000. On top of that, he has 190k defenses. Even more than Otherworld Gogeta. Even more. So he's got it, dog. He's got it. Insane blast attack, insane defenses. So he's going to be able to tank even more than Otherworld Gogeta. Thing is, though, he is a range type. As we know, Fusion Warriors is primarily a strike-based or a melee type oriented team. So he may not fit as well as you think he would. He holds 1 strike, 1 blast. I guess that can be kind of good. He could have held 2. Instead, he only holds 1. If you knew his blue man, it does as much damage as an ultimate. Without a doubt. Easily. You pop the green before you use the blue. Boom. Doing as much as a freaking ultimate. Ultimate, kid. So his green plus 20% to damage inflicted for 10 timer counts, minus 10 to own blast arts cost for 10 timer counts, enhances the next special move arts card used, plus 30% to special move damage, cannot be cancelled, cannot be stacked. Once you actually do pop the green right here, it says deals massive explode damage, inflicts all enemies with no switching for 3 timer counts upon activation, 15% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts upon activation, and it has blast armor. Not only when you pop the green card, but even if you don't pop the green card, you still have blast armor on the blue, which is phenomenal and comes in handy when you do not have your vanishing gauge, and it still is restoring. For his main ability, he's going to be able to heal 20% of his health and restore 30 ki to use that blue card. And he's going to get 30% to damage inflicted for those 30 counts. His Z ability, again, another flaw. It gives base blast attack and defense. The defense is welcome. The blast attack is not. Unlimited power. The majority of the time, you're going to be staying in with the unit. I'd say just about 12 counts. Just about 12 counts. You're going to switch out or your opponent's going to switch out. That's just the way it is. Sometimes it's going to happen even sooner, depending if they are constantly switching and dodging. It just depends who you're playing up against. The majority of the time, though, you're probably going to be staying in 10 timer counts. So you may not be able to get that 70% boost. The star arrives. Now this part of the unique, 100% to blast damage inflicted while enemy's armor is in effect. That's kind of a waste. That's really not going to happen the majority of the time. Unless it was something like cancels blast armor, that would have been phenomenal. And that would have made him a lot better too. But it did not happen. He gets 40% to damage inflicted when he enters the battle. And what also kind of evens out the flaws that he has is this right here, this unique. When he vanishes, he restores ki. Yeah, that's whatever. He restores his own vanishing gauge by 50%. 50. So you can comfortably wait and see if they sidestep. But if they don't and they tap attack you away, by the time they're done tap attacking you away, your vanishing gauge is already going to be restored back. So it comes in very handy. Although it only activates twice, but you're not going to be needing it any more than that, because by the time you dodge again and you get into another combo, or you get into a combo, you're going to be able to tag out again. A pleasant following affects itself every time this character uses a strike or blast arts card. This one is a complete waste of a unique ability. It's there, but it's a waste for himself, especially once again, this is a melee oriented team. He could have had this be a lot more to where he used the blast even better, but he's only restoring ki by 3. They didn't even make it 5, they made it 3, and you only get 5% to blast damage inflicted for 10 timer counts. If they made it 10, 15, that would have been better. They could have made the ki restore 10, but it was just, this is a waste of a unique ability. Invincible fusion power. He reduces damage received from tag powerful opponent. That is useful. And when he enters the battlefield, he gets 20% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 10%. All in all, he does have flaws, and that is what is holding him back. The main one being he is a range type. Fusion Warriors is melee oriented. He does not have card draw speed either, so that is also a big one. One of his uniques got wasted. He is a transforming unit, which means he's going to be very easy to take down. If he ends up getting caught into a combo, you're going to have to keep him on the side until you can transform. His ability is base blast attack, which once again, we are a melee oriented team. His stats though, they kind of even that out, make him look a lot better. Just those flaws right there, not having card draw speed, being a transforming unit, being a range type, his Z ability being base blast attack and defense, one of his uniques being wasted. If it wasn't for that, I'd say he'd actually be better than Otherworld Gogeta. Who is the third best Fusion Warrior in the entire tag and game? Choices are Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, and this purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. The third best Fusion Warrior, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. If you didn't know, we were desperately needing a defense unit. Desperately needing it, and it wouldn't have hurt to have a secondary viable green option. Once Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta released, he filled that green spot. He filled that defensive spot, and his stats kits are insane. If we look at him, the majority of the time, I'm going to say, even as a free-to-play player, I don't think the majority of us have him 6 stars, so I'm just going to be looking at him 4 stars. His strike attack is higher than his blast attack, so he is more melee oriented. His defenses are 140,000, and that is below, like way below what transforming yellow Vegito is. You know, the old one? Yeah, this is below that. So this makes him look really bad. But once you look at his kit, dude. His main ability, it draws the ultimate arts card 100 times Big Bang Kamehameha next. Restores own health by 30% and ki by 50. You'll be able to use the ultimate right away. Heal 30% of your health, as well as nullify own unfavorable element factors for 20 timer counts, making it type neutral. So if you are facing a purple like the new Revival LF Gohan, you'll have no problem canceling type disadvantage, being able to get into a combo with your increase in card draw speed by 1 level for 20 timer counts. You'll be able to combo, then pop the ultimate. When battle starts, you get 60% to damage inflicted and reduce the next damage sustained by 50%. So if they're going into a combo, you don't want to take as much damage, switch out into Gogeta. He's easily going to tank that. Easily. All you're going to have to watch out for is them swiping up and going for taps to remove it. Applies the following effects itself when this character enters the battlefield. Restores ki by 30, plus 50% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 30%. Once again, defense unit that's going to come in very handy when you're trying to tank. So you have 80% to reduction in damage received if you tag into them. Nullifies own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained for 15 timer counts. Once again, he's going to be able to... This is pretty much a pseudo nullification for a type disadvantage. You're still going to have it, but you're going to be reducing the amount of damage received. It's going to look as if you're in type neutral with him. If you're facing a purple, it's going to appear that way. When this character performs a cover change, he knocks them back to a long range. He has 2 of them, and it's towards strike and blast arts. However, the only thing that does suck with it is even if you don't perform one, it still counts. So if you tag in on them using a blue card, it's still going to count and take away one of your cover changes. When he nullifies endurance, this is most likely never going to happen. And when it does, you're already going to have your Rising Rush ready, and you're going to be at full health. I've never had this happen to me before. Even with me using him, you know, as much as I do, especially this is the trio I bring. 99.999% of the time, I'm bringing in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and these 2 transforming Zenkai Gogetas. But I've never popped this right here. I've never gotten this unique to act up. His blue card, his green card, phenomenal. Phenomenal. Plus, if only affects itself on hit. When he uses a blue card, he gets another blue card and gets 50 ki to use that blue card. His green card, oh my, it is one of the best in the game. Easily top 3 best in the game. Restores ki by 50. You'll be able to combo at least 2 more cards, plus 20% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. That's a little extra, you know, whatever. Gain buff effect nullifies enemy special actions that activate when changing cover for 10 timer counts. So you have someone like Corrupted Zamasu, Jiren, and a bunch of other cover changing units. You can nullify that and continue your combo comfortably, knowing that they won't be able to tag into them and stop your combo. If that wasn't enough, this occurs on hit. You destroy all of your enemy's cards. Destroy a blue card, an ultimate, a green card. If they have Dragon Balls on those cards, they're gone. So that's obviously amazing. You're able to cancel their enemy attribute upgrades twice. So if they have someone that has a bunch of buffs that gets a bunch of buffs, maybe someone like Android 18, you can take away all of those buffs and just going to be stripped down. You're able to combo into your strike arts, your blast arts, your special arts, specials. Every single card. Like I said, easily one of the best blue cards. In terms of Fusion Warriors, yeah, he has the best green card. In this tag, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has the best green card, without a shadow of a doubt. His ultimate skill, it has... Oh, I forgot to mention! His green card has blast armor as well. It has blast armor as well. His ultimate also has blast armor. He's able to reduce or remove, rather I should say, 100% of the enemy sustained damage cut effects for 3 timer counts. It removes endurance for 3 timer counts, as well as increases ultimate damage received or inflicted for 3 timer counts upon activation. He's pretty good guy. Pretty freaking good if you couldn't tell. He holds 1 strike, 1 blast, and they both have the inflicted effect on the both of them for 2 timer counts when you do end up landing them. You only have to pull this guy 2 times for you to get his Z ability for Fusion Warriors base strike and blast defense. I actually didn't look back. Let's see what this Zenkai Gogeta has for his Z ability. When you take him to 6 stars, he has 22% to base strike attack and defense, and at 14, he has 25% to base strike attack and defense. All around, great unit for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. 3rd best unit in the game. He has blast armor like Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. So if you used Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, it's gonna be not as difficult to get used to him. They both have blast armor. You'll be able to do that. And the majority of the time, you're going to want to start off with somebody with blast armor. If they want to turtle and sit, you'll be able to do the same with your blast armor. If you have all strengths, that's even better. Once again, Fusion Warriors melee oriented. He himself is also melee oriented. He has a higher strike attack than he does his blast attack. His green card, the best on the Fusion Warrior tag, and he's able to fulfill that defensive spot. Moving on, we'll choose a random one next. We got this guy right here, Transforming Yellow Vegito. Before Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta was released, he was the only viable option for Fusion Warriors, which landed him at Z tier, especially in his initial release. Regardless, his blue card was like one-shotting everybody. Now, with Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta being released, he's fallen off a bit, and with him becoming, over a year and a half old now, he is also facing aging. New equipments are being released, increasing defensive stats. New units are being released, being able to take this guy out in more hits. He's just not having the defense or the offensive capabilities that he used to. Although I still use him myself. If I'm going to rank him here, he's not Z tier, right? Obviously, he's not S tier. He's A tier. He is a great option if you don't have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Regardless, if you do have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, I would actually choose him over a 4-star Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. But once you get into the picture of choosing a 14-star Transforming Yellow Vegito and between a 6-star Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, that's going to be a little bit more of a difficult choice. So right now, let's look at this dude. We got him transformed, right? Put him at 14 stars. This guy's a year and a half old now. Come on, come on. He has 282,000 strike attack, which is pretty close to Zenkai Gogeta, right? 8,000 difference right there. His best attack is 278,000, and his defenses are 166,000 on both. And as we know, you want to have, like above 170,000. This guy's not really cutting it anymore. His main ability, draw a special move arts card next, restores own ki by 50, restores own vanishing gauge by 100%. So that is obviously very good. You're going to get that key, get that blue, so you'll be able to use it right away, as well as restore your vanishing gauge, but you only have to wait 5 timer counts on that, which is good. After his transformation, he gains 50% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 50%, and gives you 100% to ki recovery for 20 timer counts. He applies the following effects to himself every time he uses a strike or blast arts. Plus 10% to special move damage inflicted for 15 timer counts, minus 5 to special move arts cost for 15 timer counts. Applies the following effects itself when this character evades an enemy attack with a vanishing step. Restores ki by 20, increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 5 timer counts. Once again, the thing that's holding him back from being like put up to S tier or maybe being considered for Z tier is he is a transforming unit. Once again, that's an issue. He does have, like exactly what I said, he reduces damage received. He has a sustained damage cut buff until he transforms. He reduces damage received by 20%. His green card is good. If you do take damage, you're going to be able to heal 10% of your health, get ki, get 20% to damage inflicted. But however, that buff actually gets removed once you transform. The only thing that stays with you is going to be that health, that ki. So as we can see right here, this guy is a pretty good unit. Once he transforms though, yeah, that's when the story really does take place. His blue card deals massive slice damage, 40% to special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts upon activation, and it has blast armor. So if you don't have your vanish, you'll be able to use that right there, get that blast armor in. His green card, it's going to help you chain. It is going to help you chain. It is a chaining green card just like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's, but you'll be able to use it from long range too. So if they pop a blue or maybe a blast arts, go for maybe a tap blast, you'll be able to stop them and go into your chain and chain any other card. It restores ki by 50 and gives you 20% to damage inflicted for 10 timer counts. He does hold 1 strike, 1 blast. Obviously, the strike could be going towards the melee side of the team, and the blast could be going towards a range type. However, this Vegito isn't actually a range type once he transforms. So here it says he is a range type, but obviously his strike attack changes and it becomes higher. So kind of does hold him back a little bit. If they were both 2 strike cards, that'd actually make him a lot better. At 6 stars, he gives 25% to the tag Fusion Warrior base strike and blast attack during battle. At 14, it's 28%. So he is a phenomenal unit, right? But once again, he has fallen off. It's been a year and a half now. New units are being released. Equipment is being released, further increasing the stats of these other units, pushing him back a little bit. He is gonna be one of the better aging Fusion Warriors, pretty much kind of like Super Saiyan Vegito. If you don't have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, he's gonna be the next best option for sure, and he's gonna hold his spot for, I'd say, maybe another 6 months. And by then, if you don't have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, you're gonna be a very, very bad spot. By the next 6 months, I'd move him down to probably D tier, to be honest, because by then we'll probably have another new Fusion Warrior unit that's yellow. But you're going to A tier, buddy. You're going to A tier. Next up, we have this Otherworld Green Super Saiyan Gogeta. Now, I used to use him before Super Saiyan 2 Kefla got released, and I thought he was actually pretty good. He's nowhere near A tier, especially with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta being released, right? He's going to be the #1 option for green. He's a defensive unit, which is what Fusion Warriors needed. So I'm going to put this guy down in B tier, and I'll give you a little explanation why, right? So he is a range type. Once again, Fusion Warriors is primarily a strike-based team. We don't want that. We don't want that. At 6 stars, this guy, it has, I guess, like pretty good stats. But in today's standards, especially with Zenkais, right? We, instead of going to Disneyland, where do we go? We go to Zenkai Land. We go to Six Flags Zenkai Mountain, right? It's whatever though. Even at 14, his stats are very, very mediocre. They're poor. They're not even reaching over 250,000 on one offensive stat. His blast defenses, strike defense, it's below 160,000, which is below the transforming yellow Vegito. Once again, an issue right there. With his main ability, he draws a special move arts card. You'll be able to restore 50 ki to use it right away. He gives 100% to the next special move damage inflicted, and it can't be canceled, but it's just not looking too good for him when you have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. I'm not even going to be touching on this guy too much. His green card immobiles you, but it only immobiles you for like 2 counts, I think. Not even 2, like 1.5. He holds 2 blasts. Once again, melee oriented. If only you held like 1 blast and then the other one was a strike, but that's not the case right here. His Z ability, 22% to Fusion Warrior base blast attack during battle. At 2 stars, it's 28%. At 3, it's base blast attack still. So it's not even a double buffer in Z ability. It's not even base blast attack and blast defense. It is purely blast attack. So that's why this guy is going down to B tier, man. He's just not good. He really isn't. He's not fulfilling the green spot at all, and he just deserves to take a break and be put into retirement. Right, so we're gonna knock out a few of these really quickly. This purple Gotenks, he's old, he's not viable at all. You definitely don't want to bring him into PvP. He is strictly a bench unit for hyperdimensional co-op, for raid, or maybe because you don't have Super Saiyan Vegito, you might want to run this guy, but there's no need to run him anymore. His stats are terrible. Even at 14 stars, they're completely terrible booty cheeks. D tier. D tier. Get out of here. Get out of my face. Next up, we have this Gotenks. Dude, a wasted opportunity. Are you kidding me? A wasted freaking opportunity. This guy doesn't even buff Fusion Warriors. He is a Fusion Warrior. Come on, man. He is green and a yellow buffer with his Z ability. None of his uniques also tie back towards Fusion Warriors. The only thing I guess would be this, but it applies to every single freaking character in the entire game. When he dies, he restores your allies' health by 20% and gives you a permanent 25% to damage inflicted buff. Now you can run a green-yellow variant team with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, or this transforming yellow Vegito, but I've never seen that before. I've never seen someone run a green-yellow variant with that guy, and I've never done it myself. So, dude, you were such a wasted opportunity, man. You could have been so much more. You're going down to D tier. Next up, we have Legends Road Gotenks. Now, this one is a little bit more controversial because some say he is a pretty much just as good as Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or some believe that he was better than Super Saiyan 2 Kefla when they were initially released and they were, together. Now, the thing I have to say about him, he is a defense unit. He is green. He is a secondary option for green. However, the thing that does suck about him is there are only 2 things that tie him towards Fusion Warriors. That is his Z ability and this single unique right here. When you're faced with an enemy, he gives 10% to damage inflicted by allied attack Fusion Warrior for 10 timer counts. But it's only for 10 timer counts. 10% to damage inflicted for only 10 timer counts? Nah, I'm good, dude. I'm good. And then everything else is kind of like whatever. His Z ability, 14 stars, it gives 32% to base strike defense. If only it gave base strike attack as well, that would have been a lot better. He does hold 2 strike cards. That does help him, although he's non-existent. Now that Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has been released, he's taking his spot because once again, this guy's defense unit. If you don't have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, dog, I mean, he's a great option. I'm going to put him in A tier, right? I'm going to put him in A tier. Next up, we have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks Yellow. His stats are also completely terrible, even at 14 stars. The only reason you'd want to use him is for bench. His Z ability is great. 20% to base health towards tag Fusion Warriors. So if you want to use him in PvP as a bench, hyperdimensional co-op, raid, he is a great option for his Z ability. Solely for his Z ability. Do not use him as an actual unit in your team. Do not bring him into battle. He sucks. Booty cheeks. Because of his Z ability though, I'm gonna put him in S. Because of his Z ability. Because of his Z ability. Alright, chill. Now we get more into actual territory with some units. Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. Before Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta released, she was the best option. She has blast armor, very great offensive capabilities. She has card draw speed and reduces the cost of her strike arts by 5, which means she's going to be able to chain for a very long time. If we look at her actual, kits, right? Her kits, her stats. By now, everyone should have her to 14 stars. Her health, it's 2.3, which is low. Her defenses are below 155,000, which they should be above 160,000. Remember, once again, that this transforming yellow Vegito was released a year and a half ago, but look at his defenses. Look at his defenses, man. 153,000, 155,000. That is the same, almost the exact same as this Super Saiyan 2 Kefla at 14 stars. And she was released after him, which is one of the main flaws that she had. She is a glass cannon, able to dish out a bunch of damage, but she just can't take any of it back. And when Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta got released, she got pushed away. And the only reason you use her is because you don't have Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Her ultimate, it has the chance to inflict faint. Once again, it's similar to Zenkai Gogeta's blue card. It's not going to happen, and when it does, you're not even going to need it anymore. She does change her blast into strike when you tag in, although that doesn't really matter when you already have a bunch of strike cards coming in from, a melee-oriented team. She does have the blast armor, but Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta has that as well. 25% to base strike damage inflicted for 10 timer counts upon activation. Every time you use a strike, you'll get 25%, 25%, 25%. You randomly destroy 3 enemy cards when you hit them with the blue, and then your green restores 10% of your health, gives you 20% to damage inflicted, removes all your attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions. With the ultimate, it's just mirrored towards Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but it's just a lot less. They both take away 100% of the enemy's sustained damage cut effects. They both nullify endurance, and she does have something that he doesn't, which is just 30% to inflict faint. She holds 2 strike arts. Once again, that is very good melee-oriented team. Her Z ability, it gives 35% to base strike attack at 6 stars. 6 stars. At 14, it's 38. So just a little 3% increase right there. But that is phenomenal. 35% to base strike attack. She is definitely going to be used for his Z ability still. But yeah, she is Z tier. I'm actually going to put him above Gohan, or I'll actually put you right here. So she right now is the best A unit for right now. Next up, we have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Now, when he first released, I had him 3 stars because I used my Legend Limited Z power, and I had my Gogeta here, my Vegito, transforming yellow Vegito. I had him maybe 10 stars, I believe, and I was still choosing this guy over my Gogeta because I just thought he was trash. But it wasn't until I took him to 6 stars when I actually started using him a lot more and began to see the stat difference from 3 stars to 6 stars. And that's when I started using him a lot less than transforming yellow Vegito, right? Or that's when I started using him a lot more than this transforming yellow Vegito. Basically, he's a monster now. At 6 stars, that's when he becomes a monster. That's when he's actually begins to buff the tag with his Z ability, which I guess is kind of an issue too. You have to pull him 4 times to make him buff Fusion Warriors. And if you're a free-to-play player, yeah, exactly. So we go back here, we look at Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Look at the tag. We take him to 6 stars, put him level 5,000. His defenses are mediocre, below 140,000. His strike attack is 226, mediocre. Blast attack 221, mediocre. 2.1 million health, disgusting. His main ability, draw the ultimate arts card, Meteor Explosion next. Restores own health by 30%, not by 20, not by 25, 30%. You restore ki by 40. You gain attribute upgrade minus 100% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 30 timer counts. And it nullifies your own attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions for 30 timer counts. When the battle starts, he gets 60% to damage inflicted and reduces damage received by 30%, plus 50% to ki recovery. That is also pretty great on top of everything. When he enters the battlefield, when you tag into him, when he's out on the side, you restore health by 10%, ki by 30. You get 20% to damage inflicted, and you gain the buff effect, nullifies enemy special actions that activate when changing cover. So he nullifies cover changing units. You'll be able to comfortably get into a combo and not have to worry about them switching out, ending it. One thing though that was memed about him is him not having card draw speed. That was the biggest reason why I didn't use him, right? Card draw speed. That's something this guy needed very, very badly. And that is what is also holding him back from pretty much like Z tier right there. All surpassing power, plus 25% to damage inflicted against tag powerful opponent. That'll come in handy, but you're not going to be facing that team too much, especially in high rank PvP. You're going to be facing teams like Zenkai Sun Family, Zenkai Saiyans, Zenkai Sagas from the movies, Zenkai Androids, Future, God Key, so on and so forth. Plus 10% to damage inflicted up to 50%. Or rather, let me go back. Plus the following affects itself upon landing a strike or blast arts hit. Plus 10% to damage inflicted up to 50% cannot be cancelled. Plus 5% to ultimate damage inflicted up to 30% cannot be cancelled. So with 4 cards, you'll pretty much already almost max it out for the ultimate damage. And you'll need a few more cards to get that damage inflicted buff up as well. Knocks enemy back to long range if a cover change is performed against their strike arts attack. You'll be able to chain it into a blue. His blast start does have 100% to blast damage inflicted against enemies' armor. So that's kind of a similar thing that these Gogetas share, where they're able to get that buff where when they're using blast armor, you'll get 100% towards your blast arts. His blue card, 30% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts upon activation. And it inflicts the enemy with the attribute downgrade minus 50% to health restoration for 20 timer counts on hit. His green card is pretty good as well. It reduces damage received by 30% even if you don't land it. The counter will activate upon tap attacks, tackles, strike arts in your fighting pose. And once it activates, you draw a strike arts. You restore ki by 40, 50% to damage inflicted for 10 timer counts, cancels enemy attribute upgrades, and inflicts all enemies with no switching. So even if you don't land it, you might be able to dodge out and get them with them not being able to switch out. But once you do land it, you'll be able to chain any other card into it. His ultimate skill, Meteor Explosion. 30% to ultimate damage inflicted for 3 timer counts, and it nullifies endurance, plus having blast armor, which comes in handy when you do not have your vanishing gauge, or when you're trying to stop time with your main ability. Boom, you'll be able to use it, especially if you can't tell what they're doing. You'll be able to comfortably go in with your ultimate knowing that it has blast armor if they did use a blast. He holds 1 strike, 1 blast. Yeah, that's kind of an issue that does kind of run with these guys. You have Transforming Gogeta. He holds a strike, a blast. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, he holds a strike and blast. Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, he holds a strike and blast. So that is one of the things right there that does suck. It's the same with this guy too. So that is what holds them back a little bit further as well. Dude, 6 stars to make him buff Fusion Warriors towards their base strike and blast attack. It is 30% though. And with them bringing back the Sparking Limit Break banner where you get the guaranteed 600 Legends Limited Z power, I hope that if you do have Fusion Warriors and you do have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, you should have him at 4 stars by now. That's what I'd say, at 4 stars by now. So just wait like another 3-4 months and the Sparking Limit Break banner will return once again and you'll be able to get him towards 6 stars. Next up, we have Super Saiyan Vegito. Arguably, or it's not even arguable, once he receives his Zenkai, he's easily going to be at the very least the second best Fusion Warrior unit. I don't think with what they've been doing now, where they've been making them become a little bit more balanced, they're not going to make him up to the level of Gogeta over here. They're not going to do it. So if he does get his Zenkai, he's easily going to be put in D tier. Easily. However, right now, yeah, D tier, man. Now I'm going to put him in E tier because it's trash. You're trash now. Next up, we have Transforming Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Off the bat, who is the best Red Fusion Warrior on the team? Who is it? Tell me right now. Exactly. It's Zenkai Red Super Gogeta. So if you don't have him, this guy's a good option, but I think everybody who mains Fusion Warriors already has this guy Zenkai'd up, at least to Zenkai level 1. Not only from his missions, but his Zenkai banner has returned like what, 2-3 times now. So you should have him at the very least Zenkai 1. Even at Zenkai 1, I would choose him over this Gotenks. That's how good that dude is. So I'm gonna put him down in A tier. He is a great option, but yeah, Zenkai Gogeta, he just pushes out those reds that are going to potentially try to compete him for his spot. He's just gonna push you out of the way. Let's see him. Let's look at his kit, right? His stats. So pre-transformation, that's really nothing special, right? Once again, he's a transformation unit. That's a pretty big error. His transformation though, buddy. 285,000 strike attack, blast attack 273,000. His defenses are like, I'm gonna round it down to like 175,000 for both. Really, that's what it is. His strike defense is pretty good, 184. What kind of holds him back though is his transformation. It only lasts for 40 counts, right? I think that's how much it lasts for. So his main ability, after you transform, it draws a strike arts card next, increases your own arts card draw speed level for 40 timer counts, reduces damage received by 20%, gradually restores own health, each timer count cannot be cancelled, and that's forever. It doesn't say for 30 timer counts cannot be cancelled, it's just forever, which is, pretty freaking good. His unique ability is 50% to damage inflicted, -5 to strike arts cost, -10 to blast arts cost, cannot end or cannot be cancelled, but it lasts up until the transformation ends, which it's like whatever. Indomitable tenacity? Oh, tenacity. My bad, yeah. Reduces damage received by 30% until combo ends when changing cover. That is good. He does have 184 strike defense, so that may come into play a little bit. And then he gets 25% to strike damage inflicted for 20 timer counts when activated. Upon landing a strike or arts hit, he reduces enemy ki by 20 and inflicts the enemy with the attribute downgrade plus 20% to damage received for 5 timer counts. So I guess if you're getting into a combo and you do have your card draw speed, that's going to come into handy, but other than that, it's not too good. His blue card, nothing special there. His green card restores ki by 40. He does hold 2 strike cards, which is great. And then his Z ability, it gives 28% to tag Fusion Warrior base strike attack. That's at 3 stars, 6 stars, 35%, and then 38%. So yeah, that guy's going to be put into A tier. He definitely isn't one of the better options for red. You don't want to choose him over Zenkai Gogeta. Next up, we have Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. Yet again, another red unit. She is going to be put into S tier. Hey! She's better than Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. Once again, though, she is not better than Zenkai 7 Otherworld Gogeta. I myself, I don't use her a lot because once again, Zenkai Gogeta is a lot better than her. Even at 14 stars, look at her defenses. Barely meeting 160,000 with her strike defense, bro. Are you kidding me? At 14 stars, you're barely meeting 160,000, bro. Get the freak out of here. And then she doesn't even have, what, like 260,000 strike attack? You don't even have 260. Dude, Transforming Yellow Vegito has 280 strike attack at raw. Without getting any buffs, he already has 280,000 strike attack, and you have 251, and you were released during the 30th year anniversary. Are you kidding me? Anyways, let's get back on track, my guy. Let's get back on track. Main ability, I won't be outdone by anybody. Draw the ultimate arts card, Gigantic Breaker. Next, restores own ki by 40, applies buff effect, nullifies enemies' special actions that activate when changing cover to self for 15 timer counts. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 15% to damage received for 15 timer counts. So I guess this is a pretty good main ability. You are going to be able to use the ultimate right away with being able to restore 40 of your ki. And the nullify the cover change, that's also good. So you'll be able to comfortably, once again, go into your calm when I have to worry about them switching into someone that can cover change. You inflict them with the attribute downgrade of receiving 50% to impact damage received. So that's a pretty good freaking main ability, I'll give her that. Her unique abilities, when she enters the battlefield, she gets 60% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 30% for 20 timer counts, and gives herself 60% to ki recovery for 15 timer counts. And more likely than not, you're not going to be staying with her for 15 timer counts. Once again, PvP, you're going to be switching out by then. Probably by like 12, you're already going to be out. So that doesn't even matter. Even if it was just like 10 timer counts, that'd still be good. Applies the following effects itself every time this character uses a strike or blast arts attack. Restores ki by 10, although it only activates 3 times, so that does suck. It gives you 50% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. That only activates once. Activation counts reset when character switch, so that is good. It's not like it permanently only activates 3 times and then that's it. It does go back and revert to it. It resets once you do switch out and you tag in once again. Limitless Heights applies the following effects itself every time this own attack is evaded with a vanishing set. Restores ki by 20, 20% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts, restores your own vanishing gauge by 60%, and you randomly draw 1 new card when you have 3 or fewer cards, activates twice. Times where 4 cards are held are also counted as activations, which does suck. And this entire thing resets when once again you switch out. So all these buffs, they're going to permanently stay with you as long as you switch out, you tag in again. She is a pretty good unit, but I mean, I'd say the majority of us don't even have her like 7 stars because, dude, she's red. Who's gonna have her, right? And right now, look at her defenses. Not even meeting 150, bro. Not even meeting 145. Her defense, her offensive stats, not even meeting 225. So she's just not in a very great position for Fusion Warriors. If you do have a red, or rather you don't have, Zenkai Gogeta, then I guess she is a good option. But as soon as you get him, once again, you're going to want to desert her and just choose Gogeta over her. Her blue, who cares about that? Her green, it restores health by 15% and removes the attribute upgrade or applies minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut effects. Reduces the next damage sustained by 20%, which is pretty good in and of itself. Obviously, Fusion Warriors, they like some tankiness rather than having all this offense. Her ultimate applies the following effects itself upon activation. It gives her 30% to damage inflicted for 15 timer counts and reduces damage received by 20 timer counts. I mean, dude, what am I on? Reduces damage received by 20% for 15 timer counts. Blast armor when charging forward. Her arts card held are a strike and blast. So that's just another issue for her. We're a melee oriented team. We do not want blasts. We want strikes. And when you're trying to compete against the best Fusion Warrior unit, it just really isn't going to happen. You're not going to be taking the spot of them. If you truly think that transforming Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks or that this Kefla is better than Zenkai 7 Gogeta, you really just need to test all of them out and prove to yourself, okay, yeah, Zenkai Gogeta is the best red unit and overall just the best Fusion War unit in the entirety of the game. For her Z ability, at 2 stars, she'll finally be giving 24% to base strike, attack, and blast defense, which is great. Once again, strike-oriented team, strike attack is welcome, and then the defense just to top it all off. She is a great unit, you know, right? The thing that's going to be holding her back are her stats. Even at 14 stars, she still is not even meeting over 160,000 defense. Barely just about meeting it with her strike defense. But overall, man, she's not good as a red unit. Even I struggle to say that she's like S tier. But it's simply due for the fact that her kit, her offensiveness is very great. Her kit is very great. She is another glass cannon. She is like this again. It's just this all over again. Very offensive. Can't take any of that same damage back. It just sucks to see it. You know what I mean? Next up, we have Purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Now, even right now, I don't know what I'd rank him. He is between S and Z though. He's between there. But right now, you know, consider it. We have no other viable purple besides this guy. No other viable purple besides this guy. His stats, they're not the best either, right? They're not the best either. So if we look at his stats, we go over here, put them at 14 stars, level 5,000. Once again, not meeting like 170,000 on both. His strike attack is mediocre. Transforming yellow Vegitos is 282,000, which is another big issue. When you're going in and you're just tagging into them barely, you don't want to try to build up a unit. Fusion Warriors already has someone like that. Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, he is built up. He gets that damage inflicted buff, that ultimate damage inflicted buff, and you're building him up. Same thing with this Gogeta. You're building him up. You transform, then you pop a green, and you're also waiting for those timer counts to elapse so that you can use your blue card at the maximum damage potential. You don't want to have someone else like this guy who is doing the exact same thing with his blue card, right? He needs to use Blast to build up his blue, and he also just has things in his kits that make him want to be built up. So that's going to be something that makes me hesitate towards putting him in Z tier and makes me think about putting him in S tier, right? Because you don't want to have someone that takes so long to build up when you already have 2 other units on this same tag that also build up, and they're also more crucial than this guy. Easily, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta is better than this Vegito. Even at 14 stars, he's still pulling his own weight. I mean, like, dude, I'm gonna put him, man, he's better than this Kefla right here. He's better than this Kefla. I don't know, dog. I'm gonna keep him because let me be honest. If I put him Z tier, I wouldn't feel too comfortable because of his defensive stats. They're just not good at all. Not good at all. So I have him 8 stars. We'll look at him 8 stars. If you're a free-to-play player, even if you're well, I don't think we have him like above 10 stars, to be honest, bro. So the main ability gives you the ultimate arts card, restores health by 25%, gives you 50 ki, so you'll be able to use it right away. Gives you 50% to ultimate damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. When the battle starts, you get 60% to damage inflicted, further bringing up his offensive stats. Reduces damage received by 40% for 50 timer counts. That is great, especially since he has just mediocre defense. Minus 10 to blast arts cost, cannot be cancelled. Applies the following effects to tag Fusion Warrior when this character is switched to standby. 20% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. 20% to ki recovery for 20 timer counts. Those buffs are welcome, but again, man, his stats, bro, they just applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield. Randomly draws 1 U card when you have 3 or fewer cards. 70% to blast arts damage inflicted, cannot be stacked. 15% to the next special move arts damage inflicted every time this character uses a strike or blast arts card, up to 60%. So you'll be able to charge it up 4 times before you should actually use that blue. 40% to damage inflicted. Oh wait, let me go back. Applies the following effects to self once 25 timer counts have elapsed from battle start. 40% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 25%. That is also kind of a bad thing. I mean, you're holding back that damage reduction when his defenses are just booty cheeks. Like, dude, come on. At 8 stars, his defenses are 144, 150. Again, dog, like, it just sucks. Because his kit is good too, but his stats are like donkey doo-doo, bruh. Donkey doo-doo. The reason he's also good is, once again, we only have one purple. He's the viable purple that we needed. But I also kind of wish he wasn't, because his stats, bruh. Like, but Super Saiyan Vegito is going to reclaim the throne. He's going to reclaim his throne as the purple of Fusion Warriors. Final Kamehameha deals massive impact damage, applies attribute upgrade minus 30% to enemy sustained damage, cut effects to self for 3 timer counts upon activation, cannot be nullified by most other special moves. The green applies the following effects upon activation. Restore key by 50, increases own arts card draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts, inflicts all enemies with no switching for 5 timer counts. So if you don't land it, you'll still be getting key, card draw speed, and making them not be able to switch. So it's not the end of the world if you do end up not landing it. If you do land it though, you'll take away one of their Dragon Balls and destroy all special arts cards. Blast armor when charging forward. So if you do have your vanishing gauge, it's down. You'll be able to kind of sit in the middle right there, wait for them to use blast, and pop that green. His ultimate skill, God Final Kamehameha, deals massive impact damage, applies the following effects itself upon activation. Restores ki by 50, restores own vanishing gauge by 100%, increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts, and applies the attribute upgrade minus 50% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 3 timer counts. And also has blast armor like the green. He does hold 2 blasts, makes sense. Blast oriented unit, I'm glad to see that. His Z ability, it's also pretty freaking good. 30% to tag Fusion Warrior base, blast attack, and strike defense. The blast attack, I'm actually not really mad about that, because it's at least 30%, and at 14 it's 35%. So that's even better. It's not like only 28% to base blast attack. If it is going to be towards blast attack, I'd rather see a high percentage of it, and this is exactly what it is. So I'm pretty happy about that. He is the best purple option for Fusion Warriors at the moment. When Super Saiyan Vegito receives his, he's going to be put up in Z tier, and you're never going to hear from the purple Super Saiyan Blue Vegito again. You're just not. Yeah, I'm going to put him, he's going to stay right there, right beside Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. He's going to stay right there. Last up, or the third to last one, is Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. Obviously, when he was released during the 2nd anniversary, he was a destructible freaking unit. Unstoppable. Now, he's began to age more, and we're seeing how he just isn't the way he used to be. Now you have someone like the transforming Super Saiyan Dragon Ball Super Broly Gogeta. If you don't have Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, he is going to be a great option instead of this guy. I have him 6 stars, and I'm pretty sure other fellow Fusion mains, you don't have him above 6 stars. So we're going to be looking at his stats. Oh, well, let's put him 7 stars. He has 228,000 strike. His blast attack 216. His defense is below 145, so that does hinder him. What he's most infamous for is one of his uniques, which is when he uses 2 strikes, or rather you use strikes and he draws another one and another one twice, right? So when he enters the battlefield, he gets 50% to damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 30% for 15 counts, nullifies attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions for 15 counts. You draw a special arts card next to it, only activates once. He does have a cover change on blast on top of everything, being able to change that into his blue. I'm tired of listening to you preach. 30% to damage inflicted against tag Fusion Warrior. Friendly fire! Friendly fire! When he's faced with certain enemies, he gets these buffs. Melee type, 40% to strike damage. Range type, 40% to blast damage. Support type, increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts. Defense type, 30% minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 15 timer counts. The following effects occur upon landing a strike arts hit. You draw a strike arts card next twice, and you restore your own ki by 5. You inflict the enemy with the attribute downgrade minus 100% to health restoration for 3 timer counts. Final Kamehameha. There's really nothing special with it unless you are put in with a red unit and you do a cover change on them. You'll be able to lock them in and use the blue on them. His green, it is chainable. That is great. If it had blast armor, woo, buddy, that would have been better. You get plus 25% to damage received for 15 timer counts, and you can chain any other art into it, even another green if you choose so. His ultimate is what he is infamous for. Infamous. Deals supreme impact damage. Applies the following effects itself upon activation. Plus 50% to ultimate damage inflicted for 3 timer counts. Minus 100% to enemy sustained damage cut effects. Nullifies enemy's endurance, and you gain the buff effect. Nullifies enemy special actions that activate when changing cover. So if you have someone like Bojack, yeah, bro, good luck trying to cover change on me. His strike, he holds 2 strike cards, and they both have a strike damage inflicted buff on the both of them, which is good. His Z ability, whoo, thankfully, oh my goodness, bro. You only have to pull him once, and he's already buffing Fusion Warriors. Thankfully. And then at 3 stars, so right now he gives base strike attack and defense 17%. At 3 stars, he gives 22%. At 6 stars, he gives 28%. If I had to rank him right now, right, I'm going to have to say that he's not S tier. He's going down towards A tier. Zenkai transforming Gogeta, he is a much better unit. He's not an LF2, so you're able to easily get him to like 7 stars with the Zenkai missions when he got released. And he's been out for a while too, so if anything, you should have him at the very least like 10 stars by now. Man, I never thought I'd say this, bruh. But, bruh, he's going to A tier. That's what he's going down to. Going to A tier. He's better than Kefla. And then Kefla's better than transforming Yellow Vegito, so there's that. Now we move on to basically the second to last options, which is this base form red Vegito. So this is the second to last guy. Let me tell you this, bruh. His Z ability is the second best one for Fusion Warriors. The king for the best Z ability for Fusion Warriors is this guy, but you're not going to be having him 14 stars. His Z ability is this, bruh. It gives 30% to base strike attack and defense, and 12% to their max base health during battle. That is phenomenal. 30% to base strike attack and defense, and 12% to their max base health during battle. That is what I'm talking about for his Z ability. But I don't even think a lot of whales have him 14 stars, right? Especially free-to-play players. You're definitely not going to have him 14 stars, bro. He has the second best Z ability for Fusion Warriors in the entire game. You have to have him on your bench. He is, once again, so crucial that if you don't have him on your team, you're going to decrease the chances of you winning. His Z ability gives 40% to base strike and blast defense, and 20% to character Vegito base strike attack. So even without the 20 to character Vegito, 40% to base strike and blast defense is phenomenal. No other Fusion Warrior has that type of buff. 40%. No. He is free to play as well, so you'll be able to get him to 14 stars fast. Fast, bro. Fast. With him, because of his Z ability, only because of his Z ability, he is going to Z tier. Because that is how crucial he is to that team. If you're making a Fusion Warrior team, if you're thinking about becoming a Fusion Warrior main, you have to have that guy on your team. That's how good his Z ability is, dude. That's how good it is. The cherry on top is giving 20% to character Vegito base drag attack. That is going to come in handy when he, once again, receives his Zenkai. We might see it be announced tomorrow in video and stuff number 15. We're going to have to see, though. We're going to have to see. Because of that Z ability, That is going to be a Z tier unit. Moving on, we have the EX Gogeta. The final Fusion Warrior unit to rank is EX Base Form Gogeta. Everybody got this guy at least 7 stars, bro. Everybody got this guy. So his strike attack, blast attack, it's not too special. His defenses are trash. And we look at his kit. He restores your allies' health by 20%, cancels attribute downgrades, plus 20% to damage inflicted for 60 timer counts. You gain the attribute upgrade minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 60 timer counts, but you do have to wait 20 timer counts for it to be able to be activated. Ultimate Fusion Warrior applies the following effects itself when this character enters the battlefield. Plus 40% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts, and you restore your own ki by 20. That's kind of like, I don't know, whatever, 20 ki. That's what these other Fusion Warriors do, I guess. That's expected for pretty much every single one then. Applies the following effects to allied tag Fusion Warrior when he switched to standby. 10% to damage inflicted. So once you do switch out 3 times, it'll be 30% instead of only 10%. That's pretty good, I guess. And he restores ki by 20. Long awaited superpower. Reduces next damage sustained by 70% when battle starts. This applies until enemy combo is finished. Initially, when he released that was so good, but once again, with his defenses not being up to date with some of these other units' offenses, it really doesn't matter anymore unless you're going to be having this guy like 10 stars plus. Plus, the following effects itself after enemy attack is over activates once. Plus 50% to strike damage inflicted, reduces damage received by 20%, and increases arts card drop speed permanently by 1 level. His blue card isn't anything special, although it does have blast armor. His green card, it restores your vanishing gauge by 100%. It only activates once though. There's that. He holds a strike and blast. That's going to be holding him back a little bit as well. Let's look at his stats at 14 stars really quickly. 160,000 defenses, and then like 200. I'm gonna even it out to like 220 on both offenses. That's what I'm gonna even it out to. And then his Z ability is pretty good, but it is a little bit limiting. A little bit. At 3 stars, he gives 25% to tag Fusion Warrior base strike, attack, and defense. But from here on out, it's only gonna be buffing Gogeta characters with their base strike defense as well. So that kind of is going to be holding him back on top of everything. I mean, the only Fusion Warrior thing, like, Vegito, Kefla, that they're going to be getting is going to be the base strike attack. His Z ability is very good for like raid and stuff, but other than that, nah, he's not going to be vibing like that. Once again, he is red. I mean, dude, like, we have 3 other options for red that are better than this guy. So I'm gonna put him in B tier above this Otherworld Gogeta. I couldn't find a picture of him, but that's where I put him. So this is the Fusion Warrior tier list. Otherworld Gogeta, without a shadow of a doubt, the best unit for Fusion Warriors in the entire game. Next up is Transforming Gogeta. Just completely annihilates you with his blue card. Okay, so Red Gogeta, he reduces the cost of his arts. He has card draw speed. He is a last man standing unit. He has a green that he can chain into. His ultimate has blast armor. His blue card can inflict feint. He has very high defenses, very high offensive stats. His health is high as well. Transforming Dragon Ball Super Broly Gogeta. Blue card is insane. The things are holding him back. No card draw speed, transforming unit. Can't take SHIT when he's pre-transformed. But his blast attack is over 300,000. Only unit in this tag to have that. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. We needed a defense unit. We got a defense unit. He's green. He has blast armor like Super Saiyan Kefla. You'll be able to get used to that. His kit is extremely insane. Vegito, only reason you'd run him is because of his Z ability. Who knows, he might be one of the next free-to-play Zenkais, to be honest. I mean, I'd be pretty happy if that happened, because then you can Zenkai buff Zenkai Gogeta. Like, that'd be pretty sick, you know what I mean? Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta used to be I used to underrate him. I used to hate him, but now I actually appreciate him. He is a very good yellow unit, especially since transforming yellow Vegito has begun to fall off. Super Saiyan Blue Vegito, he is a great unit as of right now, but once Super Saiyan Vegito receives his Zenkai LF, he will be pushed out immediately. Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, the red one, we already have a red unit. She is a phenomenal secondary option if you do not have him. Yellow Gotenks, the ability to give health comes in very handy. Vegito Blue, he's falling off. You have a better option, transforming Broly Gogeta. Ultimate Steel deals insane amount of damage though. He does have Blast Armor 2. Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, she is a glass cannon. Although, once again, like she's a glass cannon, she's going to be able to do a bunch of damage, which is why she is in A tier. Transforming Yellow Vegito, he's a year and a half old now. He's beginning to fall off. By now, every Fusion Warrior main should have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta like 4 stars, and you're going to begin to want to use Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta more because, yeah, transforming Yellow Vegito is falling off. Transforming Super Saiyan 3, if you don't have Zenkai Gogeta, if you don't have Red Super Saiyan 2 Kefla, then you're going to want to use him, but you really don't want to use him if you do have those 2 other options. Legends Road Gotenks, he's green, but he is not fulfilling that defensive role like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is, which is why he is way down in A tier at the last spot as well. Next up, we have Otherworld Gogeta. He is a good green option if you don't have Super Saiyan 2 Kefla or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but you never want to use him basically. These 2 Gotenks, wasted opportunity, could have been a lot better. And then obviously Super Saiyan Vegito. He is going to get his Zenkai eventually, but he sucks booty cheeks, and I'm going to put him in F tier because you're failing right now. And then I put EX Gogeta right here in B tier in front of the Otherworld Gogeta. Let me know what you think though. Do you agree with me? Did you enjoy this tier list? Man, I know nobody even watched it this far. If you made it this far, comment Broly looking like a superhero.